Good evening, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to read something from a woman named Jo, J-O. She has a couple of testimonies on my channel, and I'll post links to them, make reference to them in the body of this video. But she wanted to provide an email. I think this is an email. Let me just see here. On August 19, 2025, she sent this email to Eric Schmidt, S-C-H-M-I-T-T, a Missouri senator, and she lives in Missouri, by the way, Andrew Bailey, a Missouri Attorney General, and Dan Bongino. I'm hoping that Andrew Bailey is a good one, quote unquote. I do hope people are getting jobs through this administration because of their loyalty. If Bailey joined forces because of loyalty, then organized crime will mean nothing to him. She writes a letter. Dear Attorney General Andrew Bailey, America is so busy pointing the finger at criminal activities in other countries, but has a quote-unquote blind eye towards the corruption here in America. I guess if you're an American citizen, it's okay to commit crimes. Back in 2019 or 2020, my ex-neighbor Mike Whitlow exposed to me that Maryland Heights, Missouri is involved in quote-unquote organized crime. He said that our neighbors, many of them, and pointed those 3 houses around his house who are involved. He said that even some of our police are involved. They have access to small pills and cocaine. During those years above, I spoke to Captain Joe Egan in Maryland Heights Police Department as to what Mike Whitlow shared regarding organized crime with me. As I spoke about organized crime in the neighborhood, the captain's reply was, quote, "Don't worry about things you can't change," unquote. My friend Jana Smith was with me as I spoke to Captain Egan. We both could not believe that a police officer would say that. The police always say, "See something, say something," quote unquote. Well, I heard about that drug crime from a neighbor. I know he was speaking the truth. It must have been a real miracle for Mr. Whitlow to tell me about organized crime here in Maryland Heights, Missouri, because he and his wife are also involved in it. The wife still lives at 11030 Willwood Drive. Mike and Marcia Whitlow, they're divorced. Mike is no longer in the house. I have written a letter about the drugs to the DEA in Kansas City, but I don't believe it went any further. This organized crime has been going on for a very long time, and their operation is quote-unquote very smooth. No one suspects that Maryland Heights, Missouri is involved in it. It's covert. Then she writes, sincerely, Maryland Heights, Missouri. She writes her name, Joe. And then there's a part 2. This is part 1 of part 2. And then she writes to Andrew Bailey. This is part 2 of my emails to you on organized crime here in Maryland Heights, Missouri. She's so bold. Writing to officials that engaged in organized crime, telling them about the organized crime. That's so funny. This is a picture of Mike Whitlow, who exposed organized crime to me. In 2019, Mike Whitlow stalked and harassed a neighbor who lives at 11035 Willwood. And at the time of the incident, I was in her red truck with her and witnessed the incident. I told her to call the police, which she did. She filed charges against Mike. Her court date was to come about, and she was told that she would be notified as to when the court date would be. This was taking a very long time, and I believe they forgot about her. I asked my neighbor Alice Garcia to call the court and see when she would have her day in court. She called the court, and they told her that they already had that court date. So I asked her to call Maryland Heights Police Department and tell them her story and how she never got to appear in court. They sent Captain Joe Egan, the Maryland Heights Police, out to my neighbor's house. This is what Captain Egan said. He said, he told my neighbor that he knew Mike Whitlow was guilty of stalking and harassment, but his hands were tied. Mike's incident went through one of the judges here in Maryland Heights, Missouri. There were, quote unquote, no charges on Mike Whitlow, and my neighbor was not allowed to tell her side of the story. See, these are just gags. You can see on the screenshot above, which I will show you, in 2023, that Mike continues his bad behavior. I'm sure that if you dig deeper, you will find more on Mike Whitlow. Mike Whitlow is part of organized crime. You can see how they protect their own, and the guilty suffer no consequences. It's all fixed. Those in this illegal club, they have it covered covertly. Sincerely, a Joe in Maryland Heights, Missouri. So let me click on this link. And I'll show it to you here. Oh, where did it go? Just disappeared. It's amazing. The criminals just shut me out. Here it is. Look, they just did it again. They don't want you to see this. Is that amazing? They don't want you to see it. So anyway, age 62. I don't even know what just happened. All of my tabs that were open are not here. Recent, what I was reading just disappeared. Somebody is in my laptop controlling the information here. So I apologize for that. I was going to show you the information, and now the screen is frozen up. So anyway, I don't even have the information in front of me to reiterate what it was that Joe said, because somebody intercepted my computer screen. This is unbelievable. Here it is. Michael Gregory Whitlow was booked, Rockbridge County, Virginia, for bail violation of conditions of release, pretrial release. That's an interesting photo, don't you think? Wow. Very, very interesting. I can't comment on it, you know, but that's kind of an interesting photo, don't you agree? And it's really interesting how they're wiggling my phone. Somebody mentioned that when my phone is wiggling like that, they're actually hitting me with energy weapons frequencies, and that's very possible. So anyway, I'm glad we were finally able to get that recently booked. Fascinating, huh? Wow. I think the world has gone mad. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. This was 2 letters that are one of our subscribers, Joe, who lives in Missouri, wrote to these officials. I look forward to your questions and comments down below, and please feel free to share.